All right, thank you all for joining us today. So we are reconvening for our special meeting agenda for the Gates County Board of Commissioners meeting. We are not opening the meeting up because we do not have quorum. Later this evening, we will have quorum, so we will open the meeting up. So all of this is just budgetary conversation. So, Mrs. Sauer, if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd be happy to kick it off. We thought we'd start out with a bright spot by bringing Crystal in. I'm thinking in this year's budget, we ought to change the name of her department and call it the Department of First Impressions. Because when somebody walks into the courthouse to go to the Register of Deeds office, to go get a marriage license, to go to court, what people see, what people smell, what they experience when they walk into the building makes a lasting impression, and that place is spotless. I think we can say the same for the administrative offices and anywhere we go. So just like this building, when you walk up, they've got a new look to the front with the work that's been done on the windows and doors. This room with the carpet, I mean, I think it's made a really nice professional upgrade to what they were able to accomplish here. And she sure knows how to do more with less. But I think she might have one or two asking points to go just a little bit more in terms of support for county resources. But we put a lot on her shoulders. It's enough to take care of the day-to-day things, but as we do any kind of repairs, rearrangements, relocations of offices, Crystal does some heavy lifting.
Let me kick it off.
I appreciate the recognition, but I take it as my job. Some things can be added, whatever. I have a good time with it. I mean, even though we do have a little personal stuff that might be going on, but this is where I get my relief when I come to work. So, I do appreciate everybody that helped me day to day to get through all my, tasks and stuff. And here lately, this year has been a task. And I have to thank William Robinson for being very helpful to me when I have to come here to work him there. He has been a great help that I have not had over the years. Not even for 19 years. I hate to keep saying it, but I gotta know that, I have had people to support me. And I mean, it really, I really appreciate it. Because when you don't have the help, it's hard, I'm surprised I haven't threw in yet. But like I say, great people that I work with, I appreciate. Like I say, good people are hard to find. So that being said, and yeah, Chrissy too, I gotta get her. Get on my nerves, and I get on her.
She gets you paid every month.
Yes. So I gotta be nice to her. So, like I said, Mr. Perry and the commissioners, you all, I appreciate the support. That's all I have to say. Get on with my budget. Like I said, it's kind of small. I can't see my allergies is cutting up today. So, whatever questions you all have, like I said, I ain't going through all that because I was whining and crying about we need this and we need that. I put it on y'all paper, so y'all decide, bring that to the table when the time comes, that's fine. I accept whatever. I'm not a hard person to get along with. My only main concern is I don't need nobody to run my staff away. Cause it's hard to find good staff. It took me a long time to get the people that I had. And this period is a week for that, fight with him. Anyway. So I just want people to realize that doing this type of work is not easy. Our lives are in jeopardy every day, and we come here to work behind people. You know what I'm saying? Cleaning and all that. So we're gonna, like I said, move on with, my budget. It's basically, the cost is rising. I, work with, actually for Blue Credit, Victoria and myself, and we, so I got with them to kind of strategize these numbers with the rising costs. Because I have never been over my budget, never been under my budget. And this comes from me doing estimates off of my thinking, because I don't have a lot of contractors. Because, it's, everybody knows, well, I don't know if everybody knows, but over previous years, I had, it was disgruntled employees that caused me to lose some very good contractors that I'm now trying to bring them back, so, wish me luck on that. But anyway, like I said, I got a lot of stuff going on, and I don't have a lot of people to use. So if you see these few that I have that constantly come up to get things done for me, trust me, it's nothing illegal. Ain't no illegal, nothing going on. So I just wanted to be clear of that, and I appreciate the people that do come out that help me get things like this done, And my staff, they work great. I'm still working a little bit with full-time, one of my maintenance guys, and I'm throwing him under the bus, and he needs to be groomed a little bit more, But
I just remember we're recording this.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm gonna say nothing, just tell the truth. But he's young, we all been young, so I appreciate that he did come to join us to help. And like I said, I thank, Chris for coming on, because he has been a tremendous help, and I'm not just saying it just to be saying. He is like, kind of like, Nathan Rick when he was here, like the jack of all trades, so he's knowledgeable, very knowledgeable with different stuff, but the thing that I basically want to put out here is I need him to like get some more trainings, like to help bring him up to the moderate day units and different stuff like that. But we having a hard time finding classes and stuff like that, but I did put it in my budget. I did do some homework of trying to find these colleges that's offering, HVAC, trainings and stuff like that, but people don't get back with you. I practically go to the college and talk to the people, and they never get back with you, so I'm constantly working on that as well, because that would be even a better, people that would have the county even in a better place, that we won't have to spend the extra money to hire somebody to fix our units. And some stuff is just gonna be beyond his, work ethics, but he will try, and that's the main thing. He can't troubleshoot people. I can still troubleshoot a little bit, so I'm still hanging out there with him and doing what I gotta do. Let me see, I don't think I'm asking for anything that's out of the ordinary. For is, GITS facility, I'm still working on that, trying to get that planned out so that she can move forward, or you all can make the call of what we're gonna do. It's not looking good at a certain point of view, but then Mr. Perry's gonna go out and we'll try to strategize and stuff that we can try to figure out the best way.
Every project has challenges.
Right. So we got one, and hopefully we have good success with that on Thursday. Because I try to do right and be fair with all the department heads. Can't please them all, but I do the best. Like I said, I did give an estimate number to that, and it was with the contractor, so he knows that the numbers that was included with the rising costs as well. So that may be off a little bit. It all depends on how much more the cost is gonna rise between now and July. or whenever you all make the budget, whatever. I think that was the biggest one, other than I did ask for another, what we call it, fleet vehicle for my department. I can use 2 more, but I will be greedy. I think I can handle 1 more. If that's okay.
We'll take a look at adding that to the fleet leasing program.
Okay, like I said, those were the main things that I, bringing the part-time on as a full-time. USDA was added to my department, and, that's the reason why I'm requesting that Julie be brought on full-time. I know it has been some talk about the community center. To be honest, and have no shade at no one, because I'm not a shade person. When you're planning these things, you need to take into consideration of what your facility needs, including cleaning. And when you throw a person out there like that, and you already had that person projected, and you already had it projected, this is the reason why you need to bring that other person on, so that we can get the other building that was added to me. That kind of threw me off now, because personally and professionally, the community center needs at least a part-time person that can work at least 4 hours there a day, because it does need a lot of work.
There's a lot of activity, a lot of
Right,
foot
you need
traffic.
somebody there that can get on it, because we don't know what's gonna be coming as far as the viruses and all that other stuff, we don't know. So that's one thing that I want to throw out. I have no problem helping, we do the maintenance on that facility. Matter of fact, I'm waiting, for a contractor to come and fix their unit that went out in the fitness room. So I had to apologize, because the person that I called, they had another call before mine. So hopefully they'll get out there and fix it today. So, like I said, I'm trying to work with everybody, and we all trying to do what we have to do to make the county better. So, I think, well, you don't have nothing that you want to remind me of, we worry you enough about it.
But she uses a lot of local contractors.
Yeah,
The whole thing I was gonna mention was your part-time you addressed there.
oh, okay.
So that was the one thing I heard you talk about when you brought it up.
Okay, thank you.
Any other special projects other than Yates that you might have?
I'm in the process of, I didn't have to ask for a generator for health department, so I think I took it off my budget request, because I was told after the fact that they were in the process of getting one.
It's for the health department.
Right, so, BOE is in the process of getting one for, that's what Patrice is trying to do, so I wanted to make sure that when she do it, that it, or whatever, it runs the whole facility.
Because there was Albemarle
Health
Health
Right.
was gonna put one
for the health.
for the health department, and, Patrice was gonna get one for its.
Right, and I would greatly appreciate if that could be mentioned, that anytime they're gonna do anything to those to the county facilities, that they just give me a call, or give Mrs. Howell, or someone heads up, because people don't realize it's more to just adding things to a facility. You have to make sure these facilities are up and capable of handling things like that. Because if they're old facilities, you need to make sure that we got the power, you know what I'm saying? You just don't go and do what you wanna do to a facility and then tell you about it later. So,
Well, Crystal, question came up the other day, are there two separate electrical services to that area? One just for the annex and one for the health department? They're not on the same service, are they?
I think so. They just have two different meters.
Okay, well,
So one feed, two different.
Right,
meters, so
right.
there will be two different places.
yeah,
Right, yeah. Because that was one of the reasons why that, you know, I keep that out of my budget, we talk about that later, but, do my budget now. But anyway, if you notice where I have, capital outlay building and improvement, I really, okay, the Department of Social Services, I had kitchen cabinets, which it won't take a whole lot out of that cost, because it's nothing but less than $5,000 that could probably come out of that cost, because that's already a completed job. And, the VOE and the health department roof is in great need. I counted the years elected, I counted the years, I'm to them years now that we
What
done
was
do
that?
Board of Elections and, the health department roof, get the annex building roof for the health department side and for Board of Elections. I do have estimates, that was quoted to me, and I think they still are, having expired. So, I thought that the cost was pretty good, even though I have to go back and get a couple more estimates.
and Crystal, if you would, please visit with Ms. Gaskins, our new elections director.
I did the other day.
Did she mention the lighting that she's requesting to be from the ceiling, over the table area? They want to move their meeting table to the front end of the building, up against the windows there. It's a total 180-degree shift.
Chris told me that,
Yeah, so,
cause she wanted him to do it, and, he
we
told
may have,
her he had to get with his boss.
you may have to find a contractor that can get us a quote for that,
Okay,
because I'm sure there'll be some adjustments, and we'll figure out whether to put that in your budget or elections.
okay.
But like I
Another
said,
table,
pardon?
Just.
oh, the lighting,
Just the-
okay.
Yeah, it's just a lighting, they've got the table, I think. ready to
Okay,
go.
just the lighting, okay, that shouldn't be a problem. My main goal is, like I said, I have worked on, courthouse here. I want the bathrooms, that's my projective for the new year is, for this budget is to remodel those bathrooms over in the courthouse. And, at least the two public and the, private that's at the front area. Bill Barone has done a great job of doing some things in the facility, which they did ask me, before he started on those projects. And many blinds go out through that whole facility because they are very old. That's what I've been trying to do, is get those replaced out of those offices. I hadn't had, Lowe's hadn't had anyone that was available at the time, this time frame that I need the number, so I had to estimate. They don't want to talk to you unless you got money or, you got to pay in advance and all that. But they didn't have anyone at that time, so me and the young guy talked, and he gave me kind of like a small budget number to put in for to have those, window blinds replaced. They're gonna be special cut. So that was one of the other, big costs. In the bathrooms, just to remodel them, very costly. So that's why that number looks like it do. I think it's like 35 to 40,000 just to remodel bathroom.
That's not.
And this is commercial,
Yeah.
yeah, so, if you have any questions or whatever.
Well, she's also done some work at social services to improve their security. They've got new lighting outside the building directed toward the parking lot. And I think we worked with the power company.
Yeah, the man, yeah, I called and he came out, and I thank him for getting with his people, because every time I call, I can't ever get anyone. So it's kind of good that you have a little connection, but, you know, you didn't overstep yourself and make sure everything was done right. He came out and got also some lighting out here in this, where the court parking lot is as well. So that's another project that I'm working on, and he's working with me, so we can get the lighting upgraded. Because the LEDs back then, they're, upgraded now, even more. So that's another thing that I am, you know, I have did, and I'm still working on. Or as, the, flooring, I'm in the process of changing out the, Kio's flooring as well. Hopefully I can get the magistrate and the sheriff department and, a couple more. That, I think those are the last ones that I have to actually do that flooring. Yeah, so. I will request, I don't know, I know that courts do pay facility fees. I would advise that either them or me, I don't know which way it goes, I have to get with William, you know, Maria, not Maria, but William, to see if we can get them some more tables for their, jury room, because when I, upgraded their flooring, the tables, they already was too small. And it's not like it's a whole lot, it's just a couple of them, that's why we need about 30. And a few chairs, so it can make it be more compatible, you know, or what they call it, with looks alike. Uniform, more uniform. Clerk's office has been done, you all have to go by and look and see that we got their front, area closed in. So they're very pleased with everything. The clerk is very pleased with her carpet and, everything, the paint job and everything that we have done, her department as well. Kathy, she's in the process of getting her, cabinet built. Like I said, it's a lot of stuff that needs to be done in these facilities. And with me working with just bare minimum contractors that have other things, you know, to do, so I appreciate that. I did, put in my, request, an increase of 5% for my staff, you know, not myself as well. I'll give it a little Chris. Like I said, we're not hard to get along with, we're gonna do what we have to do. And we're gonna be happy. So. And the reason why I really asked was because of rising costs, you know. That's all right. Any questions?
She is a working department. She does not sit behind the desk. She's on the go all the time.
On the job, off the job. All days, anybody, all night. But I make myself available for, you know, anyone that needs any help or questions or, you know, whatever. Like I said, I'm just trying to do my job. Satisfy the people that want to be satisfied. And you all check out, Department of Social Services as well. You see their new kitchen, the floors has been done, looks very nice in their kitchen. Myself, would like for them to purchase a table set to go in their kitchen, make that look even better. You know, bring that up, so. You know, if I was responsible for people's furniture, I knew that at one time, we was told to put it in your own budget and bring, you know, for mainly things like that.
With your consideration, we talked about NRHS, make sure that floor and new carpet. Is there any consideration for funding for that,
Mhm.
for the health department, the, replacement, regular carpet with,
Are you talking about the exam rooms?
right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, they'd like the commissioners to come take a walk through one evening possibly, but they're looking at redoing all the flooring and putting in a tile type
Right.
floor, laminate, whatever you specify
Yeah,
for cleaning
Right.
and disease control, having the carpets for the.
right. That was one of the things that, was on my list. After I walked through the facilities and stuff, and like I said, I didn't want to crunch everything in on one budget year, you know, so when you have 15 facilities, it's kind of like, you gotta take, you know, and don't get me wrong, that was one of the concerns, because they do deal with a lot of, like, when we have septic fields, and we gotta go out there, and don't get me wrong, maybe I should have put them on the list first, but when you got so much coming up, and, you know, it's kind of like, blew over my head, but that will be something that I can probably, you know, switch out to get done. I tell you, prioritize it, you know. So I would love to go ahead and get somebody out there, get with Karen or whoever, because the last time they did all the carpeting and stuff, I had nothing to do with that. It's already done. Had people that came.
Thank you for mentioning that, Mr.
Yes,
Butcher.
yes, I really appreciate it.
Sure.
They told me. And I should have remembered that, because I had to go out and clean the car. On the septic tank speed, so. Appreciate it. That should, like I said, if they talking about, well, all carpet, I would even like to do the live, because of the small kids dropping stuff and picking it up and, you know. I'll go from that.
Big question. At one point in the past, we used to have something at the jail for Birmingham.
Yes,
Has that gone away?
that was,
We use Dixie.
yes, Dixie's, I'm sorry. I don't even know if I changed the name of it.
Well, what we were charging, that was on one line of this blank, so.
Okay.
that may be coming.
Yeah, that's out,
Okay.
because I replaced it with, Dixie
Okay.
on their, contract service.
Okay.
Just,
I noticed that it was only like 2 or 3 times.
It did. That's right.
Thanks so much for.
And you all have a blessed day, and I'm moving on. Y'all think of something else, help me out, just give me a call. Thank you.
Thanks so much for everything for this round of us.
Thank you.
All right, next on the list, right on time, is, register deeds. So, this is being recorded, not to make y'all nervous. This is not an open meeting, this is just a discussion meeting, because we do not have to, so. If you would like to introduce Mr. Sal?
My only comment is, the Office of the Register of Deeds is one that creates no headaches for the people on the other side of the street. They do their business, they do it efficiently, and almost all the time the customers come out happy. It's the folks down at the tax office that gotta worry about
Yeah.
customers sometimes.
We appreciate that, we try to. What we may help us take care of the public and the community. That's what we're here
It's
for.
on our service.
All right, y'all have any questions on what we presented? Or do you have copies of it?
I do not have copies.
Oh, you want a copy?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just
Yeah, it's just.
a brief overview.
I can make, here, let me get my good copy.
No, this is all, this one.
We really didn't have that, big of an increase. It was mainly just on the everyday expenses of things going up, stamps, supplies and all that, and, you know, it's gone up in prices other than that.
I'm trusting you identified all your training needs for
Yes, sir.
any of your certifications and things.
What was the difference you said you put on?
It was less than $2,000. We did increase the part-time a little bit because of what happened with her last time this past year. That's the only thing we increased.
What happened this past year?
When I lost Fred, and she
She
was
was
by
out
herself
for-
for a month. When my husband died, and she had to be by herself. We didn't have anybody, you know, she was there all day
And
long.
all we had was $1,000, and nobody wants to.
Yeah,
Did you have anybody in mind that could have come in?
Not for $1,000. I did have one person that
Volunteer.
volunteered, and that's Leslie Douglas. But, you know, you're just, they know nothing about the office. All they do is, like we got right now, is warrant dance and telephone, and all this stuff now.
Right.
Which is better than nothing at all.
But in a situation like that, if you could just let somebody know, you might could have done something differently. But you would need to know, have somebody that you know that has.
Yeah, it wouldn't become an issue unless I was sick or something.
Yeah.
I mean, but you need somebody who has some knowledge, right?
Right. So it's just, it's hard.
Yeah, so, I mean,
You can't. You've got to train somebody about recording a document. It's not just something you walk in there and say, push that button, push that, and it's done. It's not like that, you know.
But even if we had somebody that could just answer the phones to do the bare minimum, like if one of us was out for an extended period of time and just, like, I had a doctor's appointment, just long enough to do stuff like that. Wouldn't have to be all day, every day, you know.
but that's something we could discuss in the future. We got to have a backup. Okay.
Yeah, it's just, you know.
Just not sure how to handle it.
Yeah, I had, you know, when Sharon was registered for me, Miss Harold, I had a period of time where I did it by myself, and luckily, nobody got sick. I didn't get sick, and we made out okay. It's just long days, but other than that, you know, we do okay. But you just don't know what's gonna happen, you know. You have to get up in the morning, put our feet on the floor now.
I wouldn't call that a senior citizen.
It's not shocking, but it's good.
Yeah.
She had to say, "It's not working."
What would I call it?
And like I said, went up on the office supplies just because the price of things going up. And the certification and went up a little bit.
You didn't get certified in.
I have to get 10 hours in, and she has got 5.
Okay.
That was it.
More or less, yeah.
Like we mentioned at the last meeting, we have a lot of departments who are very frugal and are careful not to spend the dollars unless they need them. And when the audit was presented for June 30 from last year, in the Office of the Register of Deeds, they put back a little over $10,000 that they didn't need. So they are very careful. We could have scheduled maybe just 10 minutes for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think the sheriff's sitting over there, sitting on go.
Oh, yeah.
Waiting for time to come
Oh,
on.
yeah.
He said, it seems like it's. Yeah.
This is what I want to thank you for the efficiency of your department and staff, for the efficiency, and really appreciate great stewardship.
Thank you, thank you.
I have a question I want to ask about, just to clarify my own way of thinking. This potential grant for registered deeds, I know it could be 2,000, and I think last year was a little bit different. And now they require a match. Does that all go into that automation fund? So does it just stay in your budget?
It's in the budget part, it's supposed to be set up as a fund by itself, is the way we understood it.
But good news about that is, I think this year was it. I mean, good news, not good news, but, so I don't think we'll have to worry about it going forward.
Okay, because
It's 2
one of the
year
things
Yeah.
Marie was asking me about, and I went and talked to her this afternoon, because with the confusion we had last year, I was focused on the money that we were trying to get in. But in that automation fund, you do still have some additional funds in there that I was looking at.
Right.
You kept saying you thought you had more money than what you
Right.
said, that was in the fund balance, and I was not looking at that, because I was focused on trying to make sure we got the other things straight.
Right.
Because it got kind of confusing with the years going by and then having to match it and not using all of it, and,
I think that was the problem too, where it was like going over.
yeah, more than the years.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, I just wanted to make sure.
But we got
I
some
know
stuff
that
that
if
we
you-
want to take for you to look at.
Yeah, but
We
if you-
wait until this was over.
Yeah, because if you do end up applying for it again, if you can,
Okay,
then I have to try to match it, and that's
Right.
just something I have to add to it. It's not a lot of money, though, it's like 2,000, 4,500. All right, I just want to get some clarification on that.
yeah, it was confusing.
Oh, yes, it was. The only thing I could make for sure was that I knew how much we were supposed to get, how much we were supposed to match, and how much we spent.
Yeah,
And that,
It wasn't
I could get
matching.
together. All right, thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just giving Sheriff a high five.
I will.
Tell
More
me,
and more. Yeah, Pete stepped in.
hopefully,
And then Scott had come in too with him to speak more and how we left, so.
so there's a computer trouble. Good.
All right. So our, next on the list is, the Sheriff's Department, so if you'd like to introduce.
Sheriff Campbell makes it easy for us.
I did try.
He calls me quite often. Sometimes he sends me photos, not crime scenes, but turkeys or deer or
Yeah.
fish a lot of time. But I think, given all the different pots of funds that he has to work through, whether it's the state money that the General Assembly got for us, or through his drug funds, or his regular monies. He has, Mr. Young, burning up the sidewalk to get back and forth to Williams. And as I mentioned the other night at the audit, at the close of the fiscal year for 24, in the sheriff's office, he had almost $158,000 unexpended. And that's just for his law enforcement and civil side. The jail is a little bit different picture because it's hard to hit the target because you never know how many inmates you're gonna have, how long they need to stay, and what complications you might have with medical. But we did spend about $100,000 more than what was originally approved. And again, those extra funds came through a budget amendment or two that the board approved because he gave us advance notice. So, but to put back $158,000, I'd say we had a good year.
And on the inmates, we have upticks and now you don't have a lot right now, man, it's crazy, how many people we got in. And you always hope you're gonna get them in, but a lot of times they'll bond back 2, 3, 4 days, so they don't cost you so much, but we do have some long-term ones in, that don't go anywhere.
How many different facilities are there?
We got,
3 right now.
we use them, I don't know the number, but some, I think we got 5 or 6 or more in per county, and then we got, about the same amount at Alamo District.
Then we have one in central prison for safekeeping. So it's actually 4 facilities where housing inmates in right now.
And the bad thing about it, we've got, I think, 4 that are sitting in regional jails waiting to go to DOC, and they're backlogged, and I've not been able to move them for 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 or 4 weeks. We got 2 in Northampton, then what's sitting there for probably about 4 or 5 weeks now.
That's a financial burden for the county.
Yeah, they have to pay for it.
Yeah, we have to pay for them, and one of them has cost us probably about $15,000 in medical costs. He had eye surgery up in Durham, and we had to pay Northampton County because they knew we were short. They transported him, stayed with him at the hospital while he had his surgery, then he's gone back like 2, 3 times for follow-ups, and Northampton County has been nice enough to transport and provide security for him instead of us sending someone all the way up there. So, but of course, they're gonna charge us for it, so that's the tick on that one.
Well, we're paying for somebody's eye surgery. Did they come in with bad eyes?
Yes, sir. But once they become an inmate, that's all it's there. Amen. The old saying, if you need dental work, get locked up, then you can go to dentists and the county or the state will pay for it.
We have, since I came on the show, we started using Prime Health, which they do scrubs on bills, and they saved us a ton of money.
Yeah.
Every time we get a bill, I send it to Prime Health. Prime Health, they do the negotiations with the hospitals and the medical facilities. Then they'll pay it, then they'll send us a bill and we'll end up paying them. They normally save us anywhere from 60 to maybe 70% of what the original bill is. So, I mean, when we found out about this program, we were very happy about it. There is actually another program that I attended, but I can't get the jails to agree to it or do it. There is actually insurance for inmates. It's under the Obamacare. But the jail process the individuals, and if there's any medical costs, then it goes through them. Then they bill us whatever. But once they're convicted, they're no longer qualified for that insurance. It's only before when they get arrested, but we can't get the jails to go along with the program. There's no other way to put it.
What's the name of that program?
I got the information in my office. I'll email it to you.
Okay, thank you.
But it's an insurance company. It's nationwide because different states are using it.
The young lady that that wrote our Governor's Crime Commission grant, she's the one that presented it to me online. We did a webinar, there was about 8, 9 law enforcement agencies on that webinar, so as soon as I get it, I'll email it to you, so y'all can, maybe talk to whoever.
Yes, thank you, sir.
As far as the budget itself, we have not asked for an increase in anything. We asking for the same thing we did last year, and the reason for that is we were lucky last year to get a $300,000 grant, so we were able to buy a lot of what we needed through them with the grant money. However, we just ordered an item for investigations. We just got hit with a 10% tariff. And that is gonna happen further on. I called, as soon as I got this invoice and saw the tariff on it, I called Gulf. Even though all of our equipment the companies are American, that their items are made overseas. Safariland, it's made in Mexico. 511 uniform clothing, it's made in China. When I called Gulf, they told me their management was in meetings trying to figure out how they were gonna do the tariffs, whether they were gonna just add it to the subtotal or if they were gonna just add it to the price of the item. So we don't know how it's gonna go. But as of right now, we're not gonna ask for no increase on any line items until we see how it goes. I don't see us burdening the county with anything right now until time comes if we need something. We actually ordered 18 holsters from Safariland back in December, November. It's sitting in customs in Miami. The company can't get them to us. So as soon as we get them, we'll be able to pay for them and go, but that was through grant money. But that's the problem we're facing right now. There's a lot of back orders because companies don't know what they're doing, how they're gonna do these tariffs. And ammunition is another problem we're running into. Even though a lot of the ammunition is made in the US, I don't know what the reason is, but 300 blackout rounds, you can't find them right now. And that's what we carry, our SBRs are all 300 blackout. So we're gonna play it by ear. We're not asking for no increase as far as budget wise. And we'll just see if the time comes, then we'll come to Mr. Robison and Mr. Sauer and ask for
That might be something that you can put a line item over here for, just because we know it's coming.
it. Yeah.
We do know it's coming.
This was a $4,000 item and the 10% tariff was $400 for it.
I know we're running into that a lot at our facilities. We had a roll in Canada that was being shipped out for our outage and it was stopped at the line. And I think that was $37,000 tariff. Yeah. So
There's other things that are American manufactured, contains materials in it that are abroad, and that's how the tariffs kicks in on home,
I mean, 511 is based out of Modesto. I used to buy 511. I remember when 511 first opened up back in the 80s. And it was rock climbers who opened the company. That's what it was for. Hikers and stuff of that nature. Then it became tactical. But all of their clothing is made overseas. It's made in China. So I asked the lady, I said, these pants that I have on is $82. If it's a 50% tariff like they're putting on China, is it gonna be an extra $41 for us? You know?
Vehicle wise, you're in good shape?
Well, we got two that are gonna be mild out if we stay on the program, because we got one with 148,000 and one with 104,500. Those two vehicles were slated to be replaced.
Okay.
And that's.
The two that, when we had our meeting with Enterprise last
I
time.
was talking about it, but that's the reason I would like you to go back and increase that line for the lease.
Yes, sir.
Because you pretty much have it there to take care of what you have this year. But if we
Okay.
get two more, we're gonna have an increase there. And the fact you want an outfit and all, I would say increase that by 34,000.
Okay, 34,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that way we'll have it to cover two more vehicles, the lease, tire and all, and the outfit
Yes,
and the
sir.
horse.
Because it's, one is the two that, when we had that meeting with yes, sir, it was the 2017 Explorer, the gray one, and the 2017 red F-150. And we're hoping to have another deputy hired in July.
And I won't go out and leave them, I know I can't do it right now, but they said, to me, is everything's working okay, you're not having a problem, and everything's good to go?
Everything's going fine right now, so we're good.
You're
wanna make sure
in
that
local service tomorrow.
Yep,
Yes, sir.
everything,
So that's
it was a little hiccup or two, they got all that stuff ironed out, we go through Casper's and this.
And they handle everything. The only problem we've had lately was the MTDs for the radios in our vehicles, but that's grant money. And, Shoshone and Scott Pierce has worked on that, and they're getting
That
that.
ends up being a different vendor, so.
Yeah,
I just want to say, I kind of bought Enterprise here with me.
yeah, anytime that's great.
No,
No, anytime I have a problem, I give them a call and, they answer it and take care of the problem right away, so.
I just want to give you opportunity that if there was anything, let me
No,
know.
sir, there's nothing, we're happy, very happy with. Enterprise.
update, upgraded vehicles.
Oh, God, we got a nice fleet. We've got two, spare vehicles that are already pack fitted and good to go, and they're fairly low mile, I think, both of them less than 60,000 miles, or 160, so, we've got two good spares.
Those are, right now, we're using those just to keep them running as transport vehicles since they both have cages in them. So if we have to make a long trip, it saves the wear and tear on the Durangos, we'll use the old Explorers.
So we're making progress with the old vehicles that we're going to be using.
Well, we've,
If you give me a list, and I thought Enterprise had it, but she called me back, and I need to get back with her.
There's several in there.
I know
She said it, and they pretty much gave her the list, and then Maya called me and said, can you send me the list? And so I gave it to Chris, she don't want to go with it, so I got it.
I tried to do
Would they help us sell that or?
Yeah,
or-
The ones you have now, I wanted to give her an update of what condition they're in. They're gonna come back and let me know if it's anything that they could try to sell for us, or if it's just not worth messing with. But, that was what we talked about in the meeting, and I thought I could have her a list, and she can't seem to find it, so I need to.
There's probably a couple back there that need to get around to.
There's probably a couple that could.
Yeah. I did what she asked, I called some of the BLET classes, they use chargers, see if any of them were interested in buying the chargers. We haven't had no one to bite on it, so.
Well, the ones that were willing, we got them, they were gone,
Yeah.
we could clean some of them up.
We got rid of, I think, 5 or 6.
And technology wise, you've got the cameras you need around the courthouse and the different facilities now.
Courthouse, those out front have been a saving grace for us, with being able to watch out front, so we're good to go there. Something we're all looking at is the flop camera system, the license plate readers, et cetera, in the county. But, they're kind of expensive, I think they run about 20 grand for 6 cameras, total about 6 cameras. But we're hoping that we can get that through a grant. That's kind of what I kind of want to hold that for, if we get that, they up in value.
So you
Watching traffic.
put them up like in school zones?
Well, we put, 14 catch every vehicle coming through here, head side.
So would you be able to bill them a ticket like they do coming to Suffolk?
No, sir, it's not that.
It's not that, it's. purely.
If, let's say someone robbed a bank
Uh.
and they take off,
Okay.
you can look at the plot cameras and see which direction they were going through. One of the things the DA's office has come to us about, we are the only county in the district that doesn't have body cameras. And they are pushing for body cameras, because they basically told us that there's cases where it's questionable and there's no body camera, they're not prosecuting it. So I have, Sheriff found a grant, send it to me, and I send it to Miss Sharon, that handles the grant writing for us. We're hoping to get grant money to buy body cameras. We're not gonna try to burden the county with nothing like that. We're gonna try to use grants, since we have a grant writer now, and we'll go that route.
And everybody wouldn't have a body cam. It would be like 6 or 7 that would.
And they'll rotate.
You know, like the night shift crew, who could come in and pick up the day shift crew's cameras, you know, so everybody would be.
Yeah, I know we had talked about it before.
It's a big push, and the DA's gonna come to us and say, you don't gotta get them, you gotta have them.
They've actually, offered to come talk to the commissioners, and they told them, we can handle that. There's no reason for a presentation in a commissioner's meeting.
Because that comes with cold storage, what I call it cold storage.
Yes, sir. The cameras itself is not that expensive. It's the storage that's gonna kill you, because you have, by general statute, you have to keep it for 30 years. And that's what kills you. It's like our reports, we have to maintain our reports for 30 years, that's why they're out at the EOC in that one little room.
Yeah.
So,
I know it was brought up at the last meeting, is in this budget, is the unfreezing or of that position?
I know we talked about that a little bit, and, just to put you in mind at ease, I am not filling the captain, as a captain position. I'm not, it's not. I've got some pay raise proposals that I'm gonna go over with y'all, but, captain is not on the list. We'll take that and maybe use it as a deputy position, but, whenever y'all want me to try to explain where I went at on the pay raises, and that's only for my staff, so, none of these will, 3 of them did not get a raise, last raises that we got. So, I've got some criminal comparable counties and where we are as far as the chief and the lieutenant, their current salary in the surrounding counties, if you'd like to see where they're at, but they're basically about 10 grand on everybody else right now. So,
Well, for the privacy of your officers, if we could just not mention
Yeah.
names,
Yeah.
since we're recording this, and you can sit down with Warren and Christie and walk through it, I just want to protect them, but.
that's basically all I want to address the pay rate.
Did you put that within your budget or?
I just wrote on the budget proposal we sent, Sheriff will just, will ask for salary increases, that's all I asked.
And he's already submitted it.
No, yeah, okay, yeah.
So I didn't want to go all into details, because I figured we were gonna have a meeting like this anyway.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I do think for the public to know, it was important that for 2 fiscal years, he worked without that position and was able to benefit his staff.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We did, because we did hire Chris Westbrook from Hosky. We've got another young man that is expressed a lot of interest in filling out all the paperwork. He will be retiring from the Navy in June.
Okay.
And I talked to the individual multiple times, and I believe he'd be a tremendous fit for us. His reviews that I read from the Navy or beyond glowing. I mean, his evaluations and stuff are just amazing. So smart individual. So looking, hopefully, things work right, and he's still all in to probably, maybe hire him in July, probably put him in the office for a bit, and then he'll go right into school and office.
Has the state changed it so you can compensate the person while they're moving through school.
Yes, sir.
It was paid while he was,
Yes, sir.
Well, I have a question about that. While he's going to school, he's administrative, correct? Is that what you explained to me, that he's administrative?
He can perform administrative duties.
yeah, I can't.
He can work the
He's
road.
not considered LEO
No.
until
No.
he finishes
Right.
the training.
That's right.
So that's how they can do that, Mr. Sauer, is to be administrative until he finishes that training. Then he would be LEO.
Yeah, he's not sworn in.
He's not.
It'll be a 37.5 hour, it'll be a week.
37.5 hours.
He can.
Or, I mean, I think the sheriff can put him on the 28-day cycle if he so wishes. Whatever is better than wherever he has to travel to do the class.
And he's probably gonna go to the same place. It's probably-
COA.
COA.
Yeah.
Now, let me go back to your positions. We're talking about unfreezing the captain, and we're gonna make that a deputy.
Mhm.
All right, the other vacancy you had was a sergeant.
That's gonna be a,
So that's where you've already hired Westbrook into. Is that what you're saying?
He is not sorry.
Right. Okay, so we're bumping that back down to a sergeant. I mean, to a deputy, excuse me.
Right.
Right, that's going down to the deputy. So both of them will now be deputies.
those are deputy
Positions.
positions, right?
Okay. I just wanted to be clear on that,
Yeah.
going forward with the unfreezing of that position.
Once if I can get fully staffed, I got a plan, I know where I want to go with the office as far as, another possible investigator, because, you know, we're all not gonna be here for years and years and years, so somebody's gonna have to be set up to do that. And also, we have one sergeant, that's for both shifts right now, ideally, you want one on each side. So I would love to have another sergeant, but right now,
Well, that's why I asked that question, because I wasn't sure you wanted to get rid of the second sergeant position. Because I knew you talked about that, so that's why I was asking that question.
but right now, I don't have what I need to be able to put another sergeant in that slot.
Okay, that's just what I wanted to be sure.
I will, but at some point, but I can't say definitively it's gonna be in 6 months or a year.
Okay.
Well, So as far as the salary increases, where we go from here?
Well, we do our part on the salary.
Okay.
I have my big worksheet, and then we put in what's requested, and we look at what we can do versus what you requested in your other lines.
Okay. You know, if y'all knew, I didn't think to make an announcement, I don't think about it, we're now part of the Earl County Drug Task Force. And that opens up a tremendous amount of assets to us, just like this little piece of equipment we're buying now. All the drug task force around have equipment, we have this that we're gonna purchase, but Hertford County or Northampton County can get it, all I gotta do is ask. Same thing they have, if they got something that we need, then all I gotta do is ask us. So that's, they've already been over there multiple times for different things, and, I think it's about, 12 members, something like that.
12 members, this was,
I don't have to worry about running thin on a search warrant and do something real, I have to pick up the phone and call, so that's plenty manpower.
So you don't have to designate one of your staff.
our lieutenant is the, our investigator is on the task force. He's former ATF task force. He was former US Marshals Violent Task Force, so he's got a lot of experience coming from Elizabeth City PD with task force experience, so he made that, he was the ideal choice to put on there.
I'll probably put one more on there with him, so probably 2 of us.
Because most counties got 2 members, we're not as big as they are, so. But if we can get fully staffed, then we'll put 2 up there.
Yeah, that's good that everybody's working together on that, because
everybody can't afford to have it.
No, I mean, a lot of the stuff like that was,
$4,000 for a little credit card recorder.
was the absolutely cheapest thing yet to pick from.
Yes.
So, yeah, but I mean, it's a neat little item, but I mean, as far as pole cameras and, this kind of stuff, they got. And you talk about 12 grand a piece for those things, so. I mean,
They can afford it, we will afford it. Yeah. We can contribute.
And we should probably mention for the benefit of the viewing audience, we are participating in the regional jail study to help position us to better understand what our options are. And I don't think there's any interest at this time in building a jail for Gates County, but if you know where the capacity is that's available to you in whatever form, I think that would be helpful. And I think it sparked some additional interest with the Albemarle jail that they might want to get a little more serious and maybe negotiate a little bit better price so that they don't lose your customers to another county. But
Well,
I think it would be.
we were under the impression, I don't know if Northampton has done it, they were buying the old Oldham prison over there, and they were gonna turn it into a regional jail. So, and they are the cheapest out of all of our jails. They charge us what the state charges, $40 a day. Whereas everybody else is anywhere from 70 to 80, 85, $86. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a drive, but to me, it's no different than going to Elizabeth City to ADJ.
Biggest problem we have with inmates, the females, getting a female in the jail anyways. Herb County's been good, helping us and working with Northampton has too. But it's just they don't have bed space.
Northampton has 5 female beds, and Hertford County has 8. So we try to get them into ADJ. Sometimes they're full, so we have to unsecure the bonds and let them go home. And we've done that quite a bit. So, I mean, you do the best you can with what you got, and that's what we're doing. And this item that we've been talking about, this is actually part of the budget. This is part of the $300,000 grant, so it's not costing the county anything. So that's a good thing.
Do we, on that 300 that we got, do we know exactly how much down to the dollar we got left? I think it's pretty considerable.
Yeah, every quarter I have to report it to the state, so in the end of a quarter, you come see me, I can tell you exactly how much it is. Actually, you couldn't, anytime I can tell you exactly what it is, but I do have to report it quarterly.
I just, sent Ms. Sharon the information for the crime commission grant, because she had to do a report this month. So that expires in September, so we got a couple of thousand, it's about 6,000 left, I believe, is what we got left in there. But once again, there's, kind of criteria. Yeah.
What can you spend it on? This?
We looked at batons, but that's considered, it depends on who you're talking, even though it's considered non-lethal, the grant doesn't allow you to buy anything that's legal. So, I think we're fine for the upcoming year if we get what we ask for. The increase on, I'll shoot you an email, it'll just redo the paperwork.
I took that down,
Okay.
so I changed it.
All right.
So that was the one that kind of bothered me. You talked about 2 more vehicles,
Well, we were getting rid of 2,
and I kept saying that if you get it next year, I won't have enough to get
Right.
through the year, so I want to make sure we bump that up, so.
yes, sir. I just looked at replacing 2 vehicles with 2 vehicles, same amount.
The, inmates, do y'all estimate some of that, or do I just use the history from past or what?
inmates,
Yeah,
it varies.
I know we gotta have something in there, so.
We've always gotten the same amount as far as inmates every year.
Pretty good start.
Okay.
Some years we turned in a lot of money.
Yeah, I know like this year, right then, we're running good,
Mhm.
but I know last year we had to go ask for some extra money.
Right.
I think the year before they come way down.
We came with us, so.
It was,
If anything, it's always inmate medical that
I
kills us.
I just wanted to ask, because I didn't want y'all, if I throw the number in there, I didn't want y'all to come back, well, where do you get this number from?
Yeah.
So.
No. I mean, we, commissioners have always worked with us as far as numbers for inmates, so.
We had 16 meetings to bring back yesterday for court, and we did another first appearance today on another inmate. So, you have days like that, and you have days we can bring back one.
is that something that we might have to look into in the future, is like a transport van or?
Yeah, because of the fact, like yesterday, we had, 3 cars on the road, one to ADG and 2, because most of them came from Hertford County.
Right.
So,
If you get a lot of that grant money, I think I would look at using that to get that van with.
unfortunately, you look at the price of their vans,
Well, I think you still got quite a bit of that grant money.
the cheapest van we looked at, a used one, it was still $86,000. Yeah. Cause I even looked at the state surplus where DOC sends their vans. By the time you get them up there, they're ragged out, so it's not worth trying to purchase them.
And behind it, so many AEJ, they would allow us to use their transport vehicle, because we had bring back 6 or 8 at a time. They were all over there. Then we got them so spread out.
Yeah.
So,
Now, I'd like to talk about something we normally don't talk about, because we're both talking about expenses. But your department actually has some revenue coming in.
yeah,
So, I'm just looking at it, I know you get the school resource officer funding through the school. Budgets and alcohol and warfare. I see you got another budget for the civil weapons. I just want to make sure there's anything else that you can think of that may have got missed.
sir, what you said, I'm not sending the. No, he doesn't have impound up there. We collect money for, impound fees for seized vehicles. Any weapons that we keep and have to return back to.
Well, some of that's kind of hard to budget for.
Yes, sir, it's hard to budget.
Budget for is stuff that you know you're gonna be getting on a monthly basis.
Yes, sir.
That's why I kind of want to make sure we capture all of that. But this is the first time I've actually talked about any revenue yet this year.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's very seldom. I mean, 7,200, we get half of what we do, so that's 7,200 is what is the average is. It's not.
Yeah, I mean,
Some years
I just want to make sure
Yeah.
there wasn't nothing that might have missed to call about later.
Just purchase permits, it's no longer needed, so we don't get anything over that. And there is a bill in the House to do away with concealed carry. So we'll see how that goes. Yes, sir. They're talking about going with concealed carries now. Yes, sir.
As we finish these departmental discussions, the real work is going to be on the finance staff as they look at the revenues. Of course, we still have a ways to go on the tax calculation.
That's right.
And look at prior year taxes, look at the money that comes from the utility companies like the telephone, the gas company, electric, motor vehicle estimates. You know, the struggles in the economy, we may not have as strong of a vehicle
Yeah.
revenue. Folks might hold off on purchasing new vehicles.
Yeah, because I know I used for DMV, that went way up, was it a year or two ago? Substantially. That helped a lot. Is there anything else? I'm sorry, talk about it.
Like I said, we really don't have any big ticket items.
They're great to work with. They're
Yeah.
really-
And I've heard you say it many times, you've never had this kind of relationship with a sheriff, and I think that's wonderful. We want to keep moving forward.
We've always said our job is to help the county and to try to benefit from the county. So we're not gonna ask for something unless we absolutely need it.
That big grant money never got that to help us.
Oh, yes.
That money could be awarded for buses.
We actually had, 2 grants last year. The governor actually gave any county that had a population of 250,000 or less, $84,000. And I think we got, what, $37,000 left in that?
Try to get what you need.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The small ticket items is what we try to use the county budget for, replacement items for duty gear and uniforms of that nature.
It's just so hard when we order stuff to get it.
Yeah.
You know, we wait on these whole for months, you know, and, we got the lights going hill on, everybody have a really nice light to do, that's paramount. You know, but with that, you gotta have a new holster. So then we got these holsters tied up.
And
Got lights, you need holsters for them.
the lights are in my office, but the holsters are in Miami. Yeah.
List this, anything like that, it just takes so long to do anything. You can't only get a pair of pants anymore. You know, you're talking about going away with the color that guy, which is great. Hard to find those.
Well, I know you took advantage of the grant money for the vests,
Yes, we did.
and we received that money, so you got vests for everybody.
With the exception of Mike Bunch, David Atkins, and Chris Westbrook. Chris is
So
supposed,
you need 3 more.
I got 2 already ordered. They came and measured them about a month ago. Chris Westbrook just started and he's supposed to be coming up here within the next week or so to measure Chris. So, but I did do what you asked, I submitted that,
And that was in this fiscal year.
that was in this
So
fiscal
we
year.
probably can't get 3 more
No.
this fiscal year.
We went to local government, they have a reimbursement program, $500 up to 3 vests, so I asked for the full 1,500 to become reimbursed for $1,500.
Well, that's actually our insurance, the county commissioners,
Yes,
North
yeah.
Carolina County Commission.
So, We try to use everything we can to save money. May not look at it sometimes, but we do.
All right, sounds good to me. Thank you all for coming and sitting with us.
Thank you so much.
And, then we'll do everything we can to support you.
We appreciate it, thank you.
Oh, you
Yeah.
So with our new hires, Chris, that'll be able to, give me 2 deputies working day shift. We work a month, one day shift call. It's not so bad because one day shift, I can pull SROs, I can go, he can go, lieutenant can go. But, Saturday and Sunday, we're good there on that, but I said, now, we'll have 2. It's dedicated day shift.
We were all rotating rotating working weekends. Most of the time it was just the SRO. So you're talking them working 5 days at the school still, coming out on the weekends. I mean, but we're not the only agency doing that, because, I met a deputy from Mecklenburg on a Saturday down in Jacksonville. He was picking up somebody, and his SRO, he said they're so short in Mecklenburg County, it's not even funny.
Really?
They lost 30 deputies going to Cabarrus County. Cabarrus opened up the new courthouse and wanted new courthouse personnel. They jumped ship in Mecklenburg and went to Cabarrus. And that's the way it is. Whoever's paying more money, that's where they're going.
All right, well, we're gonna, just for the public, we're gonna pause this recording until 4 o'clock.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right, so we are now at quorum, and we get a motion to reconvene the April 3rd, 2025 special meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor? All three, so that carries. We are now back in session. Moving on to the admin governing body finance IT portion of the agenda.
One of the items we were talking about briefly during the break is the transition to iPads for electronic agendas. And we want to confirm that's still a priority. And it may be something we can do within the current fiscal year and not delay it. And that assumes that we can make delivery of these things. During the sheriff's budget, he mentioned that one of the items that they purchased, a law enforcement device, a recording device, they were charged a 10% tariff, which ended up being $400 on that device. So, but if they're still interested in moving toward I keep saying iPad.
I think it's a tablet of some kind. I don't know that it needs to be an iPad necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, just some kind of tablet.
So when we say tablet, are we saying similar to the one Williams got right there? Is that a big enough screen?
This is a laptop.
Well, that would be a
That's
laptop. Yeah, so it would actually be similar, it's probably the size, thereabouts, maybe a little bit bigger than. They sometimes can be accommodated to set up like a laptop, but it's actually just the screen portion is considered the tablet.
Well, we need to check with everybody and if there's a desire to get a little bit, because I can only imagine how difficult it would be looking at the screen and trying to look out to the audience and.
It wouldn't bother me. Like the Nathan, Commissioner Merriman, he's got one open in front of him. For me. And, I'm a digital person, and I know we spend a lot of money on ink.
Right, lots of paper, lots of trees.
Yeah, so that's one reason I had brought it up before. And, I know my kids have, I ain't even try to say the name of Latino, and they're assembled in North Carolina. Where they come from, I don't know.
Right.
But it's about a 10-inch screen. I enjoy those. So just something to think about.
And that's a good brand. I think that's what my laptop is actually, and my smart pad for work is Lenovo.
I know what got my attention in State College Credit Union one day when I was in there. That's the brand they use, which makes sense. It's something in North Carolina, you know.
Yeah.
And that's when I bought my kids still iPad.
Yeah.
It does not have to be an iPad.
But yeah, I think it would save us a ton of money to not be an iPad. If it could go with another brand that's quality like that.
Or just call it a tablet.
Yeah, just a tablet. And I will say, I know, like looking at Commissioner Merriman, when he has his setup, he does have the little keyboard attachment and the prompt things that you can take notes during.
Yeah, I don't think you'd want.
So I think all in one, that would be ideal.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, well, we will proceed onward, and if it's possible to obtain those in the current fiscal year, we may try to do that. Staffing wise, I don't anticipate any changes. I think we're adequately set up with positions to work with. A lot of the work we're gonna be doing now on the budget is just on the global side of things. We've mentioned the health insurance, the property liability, the workers' comp. We're working through all that. I don't anticipate a lot of changes in our three cost centers. It might be helpful if during the budget, if we would provide the board with an IT update to sort of lay out all of the different, Paul has finally caught up with me, but all of the different informational technology infrastructure we've put in. We've now got some fiber optic connectivity between these buildings, literally underneath Court Street to tie buildings together. We've got at every workstation a wireless panic button. That if somebody has an emergency, they can hold that button for 3 seconds and it will call the 911 center. They are workstation specific.
Okay.
So they can let them know it's in the finance department, it's in the registry of deeds. I think that'd be a very interesting overview for y'all, because we've tried to prudently use the ARPA money. So those are expenditures you won't see quite as much moving forward. If there are any unusual training or seminars or conferences.
On the governing body, I would like to point out something. On the professional services line, we have gotten up to $87,000. And what makes up that is the lobbyists, the demo, when we demo the house, the fee we had to pay for our insurance was deductible. There's still 17,000 left out there that was kind of designated for Summit, that hasn't been spent. So that's what makes up that 87,000. But the demo you're not gonna have next year. Hopefully you won't have an LMP issue. And once the Summit is paid out, I'm suggesting we cut it down to about 45,000. And if anything needs to be done, we have to come to y'all and approve it. I also suggest on bonds and dues that, is currently around 22,000, and it seems like the last couple of years we've been running about 12 to 13. So I suggest we cut that back down to maybe 15.
What were the bonds and dues for?
That's your school of government, your NCACC, I think there's a couple of them out there that you.
That's what I was thinking.
But the bonds are for,
Well, the bonds, well, it's the line item of bonds and dues, so both of them are combined, but I don't think you really had any bonds out there.
is it by department?
Me and tax and registered deeds and sheriff all have bonds. Well, that's two line items I suggest making a little adjustment on. The rest of it to me looks pretty much in line. If you want to talk about administration, I don't really see anything that jumps out at me on there, so we pretty much recommend basically running the same way, barring adjustments for insurance and stuff like that, which has to be done later. Finance and IT, there's a lot of adjustments in there. A lot of it had to do with the fact that we were using ARPA money to do some upgrades and all, so in essence, I think the overall budget will diminish some, but there's a few adjustments higher, a few adjustments lower, but nothing that really jumps out. as an overview, just since we're talking about finance and IT, I just want to give you an update that I have 2 finance billing collectors with across the street. I have a finance billing supervisor who basically supervises those 2, does other things inside the office. I have an IT director and an administrator, and I have an accounts payable assistant, deputy finance officer, and myself. That's what makes up our office. Just in case anybody was curious who was over there.
Or administratively, are we fully staffed or do we have any positions open?
We have one we're advertising for.
Yes.
That's how it's payable.
What is that?
The accounts payable assistant.
Marie.
And Marie's last day is,
It's soon, right?
I heard say just a few days.
She's got 13 more.
Has she announced this morning?
She come to me Monday and she said, I told James Ruff I've got 10 more days. I said, "Oh, wait a minute, Marie, you didn't look at your calendar." I said, you got 15. She said, oh shoot, I can't even count anymore, can I?
She's used all her math. So that's the only position there right now, is the account, will be open.
in essence, now's the time for us to get down to the final budget development.
And so what does the timeline look like for that?
To, by, 12:01 a.m. on June 1st.
Because, it is, I would say, looking forward, like, our June meeting is not until, I should know this, I knew this earlier, I want to say close to the 20th. Should we go ahead now and plan on having a meeting, like, just after to try and get it approved, because I think we need it approved as early in the month as possible, rather than waiting,
Yeah.
so that the different departments know what they have to spend July 1st. We don't want to wait till end of June to,
Well, if you
approve
want to do the first Wednesday, that looks like June 4th. Unless you want to do something really different and meet on Monday.
I think the earlier we can do it personally,
Especially if you just basically schedule it for the presentation of
if,
the budget.
I mean, Monday, June 2nd, does that work for the other commissioners present?
No, that's fine. Yeah, cool.
And then that way we'll have the opportunity to have it presented, have more questions if needed, have the citizen input, and hopefully approved before it gets to the end of the month.
I think y'all, Madam Chair, I think y'all already scheduled one in your regular schedule.
Did we?
Was that the public hearing?
It seemed like it was as a regular schedule meeting only. Maybe I'm.
That's great. I mean, as long as we're meeting early in the month, that's. Commissioners meeting 6 p.m. June 2nd, so we are already scheduled for that, you're correct. So we have June 2nd and June 18th. All right, look at us planning. Well, y'all were already gonna be here. Perfect, okay. for that section then. Okay, if I could get a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
all in favor? Let's do.